But we start tonight at Georgia Tech, where a fraternity house is locked down after at least 24 members test positive for COVID-19. This happens as some faculty from the state's largest public university express concerns about measures being taken on their campus. 11 Alive's Chanu Her is following this for us, and he is live on Georgia Tech's campus with more. Chanu?
Yeah, Natisha, Georgia Tech says now 24 people from one fraternity have tested positive for COVID-19. The Sigma Pi Epsilon fraternity says their house is now on lockdown and is being used as an isolation location. But that isn't the only building here on campus that is temporarily closed. The Britton Dining Hall is also closed after an employee tested positive. On Saturday, students at Georgia Tech kept it moving like a normal day, but the buzz among them was about the positive COVID-19 cases that are starting to pop up on campus. According to Georgia Tech's tracking website, 64 cases have been reported since classes started back on Monday, August 17th. 33 of those were reported Saturday alone. At least 24 of the positive cases this week came from one fraternity on campus. The school did not identify the fraternity, but the Sigma Pi Epsilon fraternity released this statement on their Instagram, saying in part, Fulton County has been in touch with several of our members and is working on the contact tracing process. If you have been in touch with any of our members in recent days, please participate in Georgia Tech's testing program. In Athens, some UGA health policy and public policy faculty members spoke on their fears of something like this happening at the University of Georgia.
But right now we're flying blind, and there's a real concern, not just for the quality of the education, but more importantly, for the health and the lives of the community.
Professor David Bradford says he and his colleague, Professor Grace Bagwell Adams, think the school needs to be testing around 6,000 people a day, move some contact tracing in-house, and release new data daily. Right now, UGA says they're testing between 300 to 360 people daily, and the Department of Public Health is doing contact tracing. Bagwell Adams says that's not enough to protect the campus and the community.
The University of Georgia is embedded in Athens-Clarke County, and the virus doesn't really care whether you're on campus or not.
But in a statement, UGA stands by their protocols, saying in part, the surveillance and testing plan put in place by the University of Georgia was thoroughly vetted and recommended by the members of our Medical Oversight Task Force. Now back here at Georgia Tech, the school says if you've had any contact with any residents of Greek life, they do want you to get tested at a free site here on campus.
All right, Chanu Her, thank you.